Brou, can a Dallas win make you a believer?
Well, you said Detroit's going to make a sandwich. Guess what? The deli is open, all right? The deli is open. Now, for the sake of your question, if the Cowboys win, which I don't think they will, and I'll admit this, Nick, it's hard to see Dallas, which was great at home last year.
16 straight.
Yeah, undefeated, lose 3 straight at home to start the season. That is, like, man, that's a reach.
Yeah.
But I think Detroit is just too good, especially with Dallas being banged up. What can they do, though, for my thoughts on the Cowboys? If they win, they will gain my respect.
Oh.
They will get. They've done nothing this season to get my respect.
Going to Pittsburgh on national TV means nothing.
They beat up a lost Cleveland team.
Sure.
Absolutely lost team. They beat 2 mediocre teams. Pittsburgh, let's be honest. So we think they're mediocre. I know they were 3-1. We think they're mediocre.
Wins in Pittsburgh under Mike Tomlin are good wins. Can we just agree with that?
I didn't say it was a bad one. First of all, they won on the last play.
That's the NFL, man. It's like I get it, man. Matt Stafford doesn't have a Super Bowl if not for Jaquan.
You're right about
and
that.
Mahomes is 0 for 3 in Super Bowls if not for
you
the
finally
kicker.
admitted
I get it. No, that's the sport, bro.
The Giants.
Every
Did
game
they
is
look
close.
great against the Giants? No. They stepped up in their weight class and got smacked. All right, last time they played a top team. All right, Baltimore. Oh, they came back. I put that more on the Ravens falling asleep than the Cowboys waking up. No, I do. I mean, Nick, the Ravens beat them up and down the field for 3 quarters and then let their foot off the gas, as they've done with 10 teams over the last year and a half, and the Cowboys made it look respectable. Then New Orleans, which isn't even any good.
No, that was
beat
terrible
the heck out of them.
That was terrible.
All right, if they win this game, I will respect them as a good team.
So
right now, it'll be the first time this year they've beaten somebody who is not either a tomato can or tomato can adjacent.
Okay.
And I would say the Steelers and the Giants are tomato can adjacent.
Okay. All right. If this, then everyone in the league.
I'm supposed to fall in love with them?
No, but it can't be.
I don't think they're that good.
It can't be a 32-team league, and 25 of the teams, when you beat them, it means nothing. It can't be that. I understand saying Cleveland might end up being the worst team in the league. If it's on the board of outcomes that you could have the #1 pick of the draft and we want to discount wins against you, I think that's totally fair. But we are going to, I think, on today's show at some point, talk about the fact that some people think the Giants can beat the Bengals and end their season and get to 500. Sure. We just laid flowers at the feet of Washington. The day after that game, we said the Giants would have beaten them if their kicker didn't tear his hamstring or whatever he did in the first play. Mm-hmm. It is not every
game. When New Orleans beat Dallas like a drum, did you give them any credit? No. You were like, no, they're a bad team because you don't like the roster. I don't like the Cowboys roster.
Okay, all right. So that is fine. I think that is totally more legitimate than explaining why the wins don't count. To just be like, you know what? But by that metric, then this win shouldn't matter if you don't like the roster. If it's like, no, it wouldn't matter.
Well, I told you, I give them some respect for being banged up and beating a good team, but it's not going to make me think, oh, my gosh, they might win the NFC.
Beating the Detroit Lions to win your 3rd straight game after winning a road divisional game and then going to Mike Tomlin's house and beating a 3-1 Steelers team and then beating a Lions team coming off a bye to get to, at worst or at best and worst, the 2nd best record in your conference doesn't make one a believer, then nothing will.
Hold on, but here's the thing. If Philly did exactly what you just said, you wouldn't believe?
If Philly did what? If they won 3 straight games?
Yeah.
Philly's won 3 games in the last 6 months.
Since we're talking hypotheticals, if Philly did what you just said about the Cowboys, you wouldn't believe because you don't believe in the team. So, I don't believe in the Cowboys. I think they can maybe make the playoffs. Okay. I don't think they're a contender.
Okay, well then I guess my answer, sorry, Greg, my answer would be, then say that. Say a win.
I've said it all.
No, say no. A win would not make you a believer.
I said it'll make me give them some respect. They don't have that yet because I don't think they've earned it this season. I respected them last year as much as I didn't think they could get to the Super Bowl. I give them some respect. I respect them at the beginning of the year when I said they're going to make the playoffs. They lost my respect. Now regain it.
Wildes.
So good.
This would be an impressive win for the Cowboys in my book. Simply because we've known where their struggles lie in the running game, and we haven't given them an immense amount of credit as it pertains to the Giants stopping them in the running game. You did. The Steelers stopping them in the running game. Again, you did.
They played 5 games, 2 of them
But this is
great
a
against the run.
This is a team, Wildes, that's coming into this game. We know their identity. We know what the Lions want to do. They want to punch them square in the mouth.
Facts.
And they are going to attempt punching them in the mouth over and over and over again. And if the Dallas Cowboys can stand the test of that and punch back and not allow the Lions to walk out with a win, I will be impressed.
Can I ask you a question, Brou? Because the hypothetical is if the Cowboys win. The Cowboys, if they win this game, will have done it without their top 3 defensive ends, including their best 2 players on defense, in Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence, against a team that the last time they played a game, because they're off a bye, I went back and checked, the lead of our show, because Monday night was, do the Lions have a claim to be the best team in the NFC? Now, you didn't say, your answer was Minnesota's got the claim, but I'm saying it was a viable question to be asked. Unless, take Minnesota out of it because they're in a weird spot where I don't think you want to respect them, but you don't fully believe in them. If the Cowboys win this game, who in the NFC will have a better resume? A better resume. A better argument that they're the best team in the conference again, aside from Minnesota.
We'll be 6 games in.
Yes.
Resumes it depends on who you play. I think San Francisco's better, and I think San Francisco's going to beat them up in a couple of weeks.
So even if the Cowboys,
without
their guys, they win this game.
Look, this is what the Cowboys will get my respect, but they will not make me think, oh my gosh, they might win the NFC this year.
I guess then I don't know what the point of these games are.
No, Nick, you keep saying that, but you feel the same way about certain teams. If Philadelphia ends up, they should win their next 2. They'll be 4-2, and you still won't believe.
If Philadelphia, without some of their best players, beat a team with a winning record in the AFC, and then beat a team that is on this exact thing. If Philadelphia beat Pittsburgh and then Detroit to win their 3rd straight game when they were shorthanded, I would think differently of them.
No, you wouldn't, because Philly's beaten better teams than the Cowboys have. They beat Green Bay with Jordan Love. They beat New Orleans a week after New Orleans made a mockery of the Cowboys.
Yes.
And you still didn't give them any love. So it's cool. Just admit. I'm not going to believe. When you say you don't believe in the Eagles, know what I'm not going to say? Then why are we playing the games? Then what's it all matter? I'm just saying. I don't believe in the Cowboys. I'll believe in degrees if they win this game, but I'm never going to be like, oh my gosh, this is it.
I told you, got to get the odd couple back. This guy is hot. All right, Washington.
I didn't know that.
He's got a Week 7 bye. So would a big game put Caleb back in the Rookie of the Year conversation?
He never left the conversation. Well, let me ask you a question, Wildes.
Sure.
If Drake May deals and they upset the Texans.
He's in the conversation.
Exactly. Which means every rookie first-round quarterback is in the conversation. Every single one, except for, I guess, Penix, who's not going to get to start. But every other one is in the conversation. I mean, that's what the conversation really is.
Is Nick's really in the conversation?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because he just played his best game and they're 3-2. So he's not at the front of the conversation. No. He's something you bring up later in the conversation. But you understand what I mean?
Because it's early, too.
It's early enough that Drake May hasn't played yet. And if he plays great and they win, he's near the front of the conversation. Drake May is. Again, Jaden's going to be leading after this week no matter what. But Caleb, I showed you guys a different splits the other day. I thought the more fair thing was just split the season in half. He's played 20 quarters. First 2.5 games. Couldn't have gone more poorly. Mm-hmm. Since halftime of his 3rd game, last 10 quarters, he's been excellent. The team has scored. The team has won. And so, yeah, if he goes to London, it's a weird standalone game because a lot of the country is going to be sleeping, but it's still a standalone game. And Cook's a Jaguars secondary that can get cooked. Yeah. He's going to be in decent position.
You said it. Like, he should have a big game. If he's and he has turned, even if he has a bad game, it doesn't mean he hasn't turned the corner and, is going in the right direction. But 4 of the 5 quarterbacks that have faced the Jags have had their best game of the season passing. And heck, even Deshaun Watson threw for 186 and ran for a touchdown against Jacksonville.
That's as good as it gets.
Right. So, I mean, you would expect Caleb to have a big game. And yeah, I mean, it's week 6 of 18 weeks. Like, it is wide open. Obviously, Jaden has a big lead, but it's wide open. Teams could figure him out, and Caleb or somebody else could come up.
Yeah, he's definitely finding his rhythm. When you play a team that you know you can take advantage of, this is what I'm leery of. You get so excited going into those games because you see so much on tape that you can exploit and take advantage of, and then they do something a little different, and none of that shows up that you watched on tape all week. And so I'm interested to see how he deals with this, because this is a game that we have expectations, once again, because of how he's been performing as of late, that he deals in this game and he continues to be what he's been in them last 10 quarters that you just showed us. So it'll be interesting to see what he looks like in this game. But he's been in the conversation.
I think it's kind of a sad story. The poor Prince up here, 2 number 1 picks, and we're only talking about Caleb.
You guys said we weren't. Hold on a second. You guys said when they fell to 0-4 that we were not, and we brought out the trumpeters as a sad goodbye, that we weren't allowed to talk about them anymore.
What's he now?
I'm not trying to.
He's 1-4.
I understand.
I gotta sit here and listen to how good Joe.
You're
Burrow
not even the least
are.
bit torn, Nick. Like, there's not a little bit of
You guys
in
London.
I'm just wondering.
I'm just here giving analysis. I don't let my biases. Nobody ever hears where I'm from like they do Chris Broussard.
Oh, yeah. Never let the biases in.
And so I know I'm just giving my analysis.
This is a no lose for you. Can't lose.
It's a can't lose. It's also kind of a can't win.
No, they could both play great.
Yeah, but I know, but
But
both
he's
of
left
the
the
team.
Prince.
But the thing
I
is,
don't
I
even
need
think
the
the Prince
Bears
is
to
his
win
guy
this
anymore.
game for them to get to the Super Bowl, and I need the Jags to win this game for them to stay alive. Because if the Jags win next week, they have New England. All of a sudden, they're 3. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.